Right now, somewhere in a server farm you'll never see, there's a folder with your name on it. Your photos, your message, your search history, your half-written drafts, and your deleted, but not really deleted text. When you die, none of that disappears. It just keeps existing, without you. Here's a number that should genuinely unsettle you. Researchers at Oxford University calculated by 2070 the number of dead people's profiles on Facebook alone will outnumber the living. Not mine. Will. We're on the track to build the largest graveyard in human history, and it's made entirely of data. So, what actually happened to your files, your accounts, your entire digital self? The moment you stop being able to log in, does it vanish? Does someone get access? Or does it just sit there, forever, in a server you've never seen, owned by a company that legally outlives you? Let's find out, because the answer is stranger, and a lot more permanent than you'd think. Here's the first thing that will surprise you. The moment you die, your digital life doesn't react at all. Your phone doesn't know, your cloud storage doesn't know, your email keep receiving message, your subscriptions keep renewing, your smart device keep logging your home temperature and your daily steps. All of it completely indifferent to the fact that the person generating this data no longer exists. This isn't a glitch, it's by design. Every major platform, Google, Apple, Facebook, all of it operates under standard contract law, the same rules that apply while you were alive. And in most countries, privacy regulation and account ownership can automatically transfer to your family the second you die. Legally, your data doesn't become inheritance. It stays exactly where it was, governed by a term of service agreement you probably never fully read, with a company that has no built-in obligation to even notice you're gone. Your files aren't deleted. They are not protected either. They're just frozen, sitting in limbo, waiting for someone somewhere to take an action that may never come. So who gets to open the folder with your name on it? The answer depends entirely on which company is holding your data, and the policies are widely inconsistent. Take Google. They built something called the Inactive Account Manager, which sounds clinical because it is. You choose a window of inactivity anywhere from 3 to 18 months, and if you haven't logged in by the time that window closes, Google can notify up to 10 trusted contacts and let them download your data. But here's the catch almost nobody knows. This tool only covers Google. It can see your bank account, it can see your crypto wallet, it can see your password manager, or any document living outside Google ecosystem. Apple does it differently. Their digital legacy program requires each chosen contact to physically process an access key it generated while you're alive, plus a death certificate, which Apple's legal team manually reviews. The review alone can take up to 2 weeks, and even then, your legacy contact doesn't get everything. They're locked out of your safe password, and they can't send a single email or message pretending to be you. Facebook takes a third approach entirely. Without a designated legacy contact, your account doesn't get deleted by default. It gets memorialized. The word remembering appears next to your name forever, and your profile becomes a kind of digital headstone that friends can still visit and post on. 3 of the biggest companies on earth, 3 completely different answers to the exact same question. And most platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, Dropbox don't have a real answer at all. Here's where it gets genuinely unsettling. Even where your family knows exactly where your data is, encryption can make it permanently, mathematically unreachable. Most cloud storage use what tells standard encryption. Your data is protected from outside hackers, but the company itself still holds a case, which is exactly how Google can hand your file to a trusted contact after verifying your death. But a growing number of services now use zero-knowledge encryption, where your files are scrambled on your own device before they are ever uploaded. The company storing your data literally cannot read it. Nobody can, not hackers, not employees, not even a court order. The only way in is the password or key that exists only in your head. Which means if you use end-to-end encrypt storage, keep your password offline, and never wrote it down anywhere your family could find it. Your files aren't hidden behind corporate policy or legal paperwork. They are behind math, unbreakable and sympathetic math that doesn't care that you have died. Security researchers have quite name for this: cryptographic death. Your data still physically exists, intact, on a server somewhere. It just becomes permanently, irreversibly unreadable. locked by a key that died along with you. In trying to protect your privacy while you were alive, you may have accidentally granted that nobody ever gets to see it again. So let's say none of that applies to you. No encryption wall, no legal maze. Where does your data actually live physically after you're gone? The honest answer is in massive climate-controlled data center owned by a handful of companies spread across the globe. Your photos aren't floating in some abstract cloud. They are sitting on a physical hard drives in physical buildings that someone has to keep paying electricity bills for, indefinitely, whether you're alive to use the service or not. And this is where the scale becomes almost impossible to picture. Researchers at the Oxford Internet Institute modeled two scenarios for Facebook alone. In the conservative one, where Facebook stopped gaining new users entirely starting now, at least 1.4 billion people who once used the platform will have died 100 years later. In the scenario where the platform keeps growing and its historical rate, that number climbs to nearly 5 billion dead profiles. 5 billion digital ghosts. Photos, message, birthday reminder for people who can't have birthday anymore, all of it sitting on servers that someone somewhere is still maintaining, still paying for, still packing up. A graveyard with no headstone, just usernames. One of these studies researchers put it simply, never before in history has this much of human behavior and memory been achieved in one place, all not by a historian or family, but by a handful of for-profit companies who never sign up to be humanity's permanent record keepers. Here's the uncomfortable truth underneath all of this. Almost none of this happens automatically. Almost all of it depends on choices you make while you're still here to make them. A legacy contact takes about 10 minutes to set up on most platforms. And it's the single biggest factor in whether your family gets your photos or spend months fighting a company's legal department with nothing but a death certificate and hope. Without one, in many cases, there is legally no one with the authority to access your accounts at all. Not your spouse, not your children, no one, unless they go through court. And the laws meant to help are still catching up. In the United States, only some states have adopted something called the Revised Uniform Fiduciary Access to Digital Assets Act, a law that actually defines how digital property should pass to your family, outside the states that have adopted, and outside the US entirely. The rules are murkier still, sometimes non-existent. Which means right now, today, for most people on Earth, our truthful answer to what happened to your files when you die isn't dramatic. It's not deletion, and it's not preservation. It's ambiguity. Years, sometimes permanently, of nobody quite knowing who's allowed to open the folder. So here's where that leaves us. Your data doesn't die when you do. It just stops having an owner who can speak for it. Somewhere out there, your unsent drafts, your old photos, your search history at 2 a.m., all of it keeps existing in a server that will likely outlast the building you live in now. Possibly outlast the country you live in now. Not because anyone planned it that way, because nobody built an off switch for a problem nobody wants to think about. We spent this whole video on what happened to your files, but maybe the real question is different. If 5 billion digital ghosts are going to exist within most of our lifetimes, what do you actually want yours to say? Because right now, the answer to that question isn't being decided by you. It's being decided by default settings, buried policies, and whether or not you click one button today while you still can.